after we had the 4 temperaments. So it was also, pretty much around the Axel age actually. So that's why you can also see that people has more kind of develop more awareness of people being different, and not just gods acting out on people. So that's actually around the Axel age, 500 before Christ. Pretty much around that time that the Greek physician Hippocrates made the classic 4 temperaments that even today we know how that we might use and all that. I will also talk more about that later on with visual typing and all that. I think it will be pretty fun, this part. But yeah, so phlegmatic is introvert and stable. Sanguine is extrovert and stable. Thought that the sanguine were not really stable. Yes, the choleric are the one unstable. Melancholic, introvert, and unstable. So there's a lot of connection to it. A lot of model actually are still are influenced by that. Very the most classic form of typology that are within people. That it's not just gods influencing on you, or you fitting the patterns of a certain type of story. Really the typology that is about people. So yeah, and Galen, a Roman physician, took his word, and he was the one that actually put this out. And I think it was actually later on, like 200 after Christ, I think Galen. So it was also later on that from Hippocrates, but still Hippocrates did this in the Axel age, which kind of proved that the Axel age was when people actually formed typology that were more precise within people, and there's just gods or phenomenon in nature. So now we have the real deal. So we have the Uji, the Carl Jung, start all the psychological type. That is pretty much the precursor to MBTI and a lot of theories that we have about typology. Because I'm bringing back typology to let's say to the table, because we will not have a lot of theories about personality after Galen's and all that. For a long time it was that. There's some variation, but it's really with Carl Jung that this was a big focus on personality, and even our modern world is really focused on ourselves, and just ourselves, me, very egocentric. We can see it's a lot less collective, precisely in the Western world, but so it's not a stretch, to see that the psychological type, personality have a lot of momentum in the last century about them, and I think it's really clear that people are different, and I think that that can be explained much more than just people being born in a certain culture, or social class and something like that, which was more something that in the medieval era they were more about. The feudalist system, they were pretty much classifying a lot of people with that. But it's really Carl Jung that really put really characteristic differences, and you can see his inspiration. So now, everyone was influenced by Kant, phenomenology was more usurped, but I guess just for the sake of it, yes, he did put the noumena and what is the fucking I forgot the fucking words, but he did put how things are in phenomena, and you cannot know the noumena. It's more like it's more like the experiences first, and that's really from there. Let's say that it's really influenced a lot of people, which kind of is a retelling of the Plato theory of forms in my sense, Kant, but it's really what really inspired a lot of people after, and yeah. So Carl Jung is also a crazy bastard. That polarity, gender, mandala. So it's really took a lot from esotericism. So a lot of crazy thoughts. So but yeah, polarity is pretty much the duality, yin yang, gender. Mandalas is really like a square, and like you relay it with a circle, And yeah, one mandala is really a symbol of the self, that Carl Jung was a lot about. So that's come from esotericism also, and of course, Freud. So Jung was the student of Freud, which the psychoanalysis guy, talk about the sexual pulsion and ego, superego, id, unconscious and all that. So you can really see how Jung really took a lot of inspiration from a lot of people, really put them all together, and made a typology out of that. So really brilliant guy, to be honest. And I guess Schopenhauer, but I think that Carl Jung was more influenced by Nietzsche actually, with will, unconscious, the collective, social, and kind of wrestling also with the ideas that Nietzsche was wrestling a lot, with God is dead, or just the will of the people, and kind of Christianity also. So Jung was also wrestling a lot with that, like science and religion, and but yeah, just in his profession also, he's really struggled with that kind of duality in himself. I think he even put like two personality in himself. Like one was more in science, and one that was more like curious and wondering and all that. So he pretty much put his two saviors like Ti and Eni. So he was aware of that, but yeah. Um. So yeah, and after, I mean, that's kind of the socionics, that after it kind of influenced socionics, the Russian kind of more a collectivist theory about the theory of Freud, of Carl Jung, what the fuck. So yeah, and that's why the quadros were very popular in the socionics model, just the information metabolism. That's we will view with socionics